Hi Queens, let me show you the easiest crochet braid installation of all time. Anybody can do this. This is the faux locks. Faux locks just simply means a fake braid. In our case for crochet braids, it is a fake synthetic crochet braid installation. And for the faux locks, I like to always do the box braid corn pattern because corn row pattern because it gives the illusion of doing a individual braid. Now, the number one thing about this is that the individual braids, if you have two braiders on your head, it takes about 5 hours to get it done. If you have one braider on your head, it takes a little bit longer. With this method, it should only take you about 2 hours to do this installation from beginning to end. Now, when you're doing your cornrow installation, you want to always, that's my girl Bree, that's my braider, my master braider. She has been with me since age 16 and it's going on 4 years, but she does an exceptional job. So she just happened to be with me on this weekend. But here is your cornrow pattern. But what I was going to say is that you want to always ask your client if they want a middle part. So make sure when you're doing your braid that you do that middle part. And as you guys can see, we did the box braid cornrow pattern on the top and in the back. And then we did a beehive. Now this is the hair that we're using for this installation. I love this hair. I love this hair. It's absolutely on point. I go ahead and oil the scalp and give her a light massage before I do the installation. But look at that wonderful braid pattern, and we will proceed with doing the installation. Now, I did do a speed up time on some of the installation, but for the most part, you're going to see the installation in real time after I finish massaging my client. I love it. I love spoiling you guys and make sure you guys are getting exceptional care. So we are going to go ahead and do this installation. And so what I wanted to say is that you do the install according to where you want the hair to lay. Now we are doing box braids here. So I am actually putting the crochet braid in the box of the cornrow. Very simple, very easy. And you just continue to do that all the way around the head. When you get to the back of the head, what you want to do is make sure you space your braids, because if you don't space your braid in the middle section of the beehive, then you're going to have a bulkier look. It's going to be bulky and big. So I always recommend that you space the hair in the beehive area. Now for the rest of the head, you go ahead and put your hair in, and then when you're finished, you want to ask the client if they want to have the hair filled in a little more, because some people's hair are thin. We see that this client has thin hair. She doesn't have thick hair. So when we get finished, she may want to add some extra hair in between the square box. So if the client wants to add extra hair in between the square boxes, you can. And sometimes when the hair is thin like this, you can always add extra braiding hair. That will help. I'll put 2 of the crochet braids into the box. So instead of just doing 1 per box, I might do 2 per box. So you just have to look and see what's going to look the best for the client, because sometimes 1 would do good and sometimes 2 would do good. So queens, as you're doing your install, just make sure that when you're feeding the strand through the box braid that you kind of hold that down, gently hold it down, and don't pull as you're taking it in and out that loop. You want to be sensitive when you come up towards the edges, because we are all about trying to save the edges and preserve the edges. And while I'm talking about the edges, you guys, you can always leave out a little bit of the edges so you don't take up everything. But she decided to go ahead and not leave out her edges, but her hair is doing really well. She takes care of her hair. She does the trims, the protein treatments, and keeps it hydrated. So her hair is actually grown, but some of us just have thin hair, and she just has thin hair. But you want to make sure that you just be tender when you get around the front edges. And again, I want to reiterate, you guys, don't leave your crochet braids in any longer than 6 weeks. If you have alopecia or any thinning, then you want to just leave that install in for 4 weeks, because you really don't want to have a lot of tension on your head. Any kind of braiding is tension, any kind of pulling, that's tension. So you want to make sure that you don't keep your installation in longer than necessary. I recommend you give your hair at least 2 to 4 weeks break without anything on your hair, especially cornrows. So you guys, make sure you do that. And in my case, I like to do my installs twice, so my client can do it back to back. Then after that second installation, I recommend that they take a break for at least 2 to 4 weeks. Me personally, I'll take 6 to 8 weeks. That's what I do for myself. And I do nothing but crochet braids, and I will do a silk press maybe once or twice a year just to see what my hair is looking like in that state. And then if I need to do a major cut, I will cut then. But other than that, I recommend that you guys do not keep your installation in for too long. And I got a comment today. One person said that if they got their crochet braid installation and they were speaking on the human hair installation. And that person said, she said, I would want to leave it in for a whole year. No, you can't do that. You guys, don't leave anything in for, I recommend more than 6 weeks, not even 8 weeks. Crochet braid is a great protective style. And to me personally, I think is one of the best protective styles. But even with crochet braids, that's still a tension, it's still a pull. So, whoever is doing your cornrow, your braid down, just make sure that they are not braiding you down too tight. That is not so tight where, you just can't bear it. Now, granted, when you do any kind of cornrow install, or excuse me, braid down, it is going to be a little slight snugness, so you give your head about a couple days for your cornrow to loosen up, and by 2, maximum 3 days, your cornrows should loosen up. If your cornrows do not loosen up by 2 to 3 days, then you really need to, I hate to say it, you need to have the installer take it down, because you're going to do more damage and harm to your scalp. So, and especially if you start seeing big bumps on the nape of your neck or anywhere, you want to go ahead and take that install down and go ahead and redo it and make the cornrows looser. And that has happened to me. A client was tender-headed, and she thought and felt like it was too tight. So I told her to come back in, and we took the whole thing down, and I re-braided her, and she was fine from that point on. So it's okay, if that happens. And I didn't charge her. She just had to get more hair. But, you want to, as stylists, you want to ensure that your clients are getting the best service. So we'll talk about customer service and things like that as well. But, you as a stylist, you want to ensure that your client is getting the best service possible. So that is a suggestion, something that you can do. I also wanted to say that there are so many different varieties of faux lock hair, which is a fake braid that you can pick from so many different curl patterns out there. And for me personally, I like to have the faux lock hair that has the strands coming out because I just think it gives a softer look. But whatever you like, however you like it, box braids, natural looking faux lock, kids hair faux lock, they have the twisted faux locks. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So you guys make sure you take a look at my photo gallery from the many different faux lock installations I have done over the years. You are most likely going to find something that you like. And I also want to say that when you're doing your installation, you want to make sure that it's not big and bulky. Now, I will say if a client has a larger head, then yes, larger head means more hair because there's more hair that we have to fill in. So I suggest that if you have a larger head, that you don't get the faux locks that have a lot of fullness to it. You want to get something that's like a pre-stretch, natural curl look, and this will allow it to look flatter versus looking fuller. Queens, I hope you guys are enjoying this video. Here is the end results. I used 6 packs of the boho wavy crochet braid hair and I absolutely love it. Now, I will say it is full, but with crochet braid hair, normally the fullness will go down in about 3 or 4 days. So I just suggest instead of doing the bonnet, go ahead and tie it down. And then after about 4 or 5 days, you'll be good to go. But look at the individual squares. So again, if you wanted to put more hair there, you can to make it even fuller. Here is the bonus video. Now this client has a larger head size, and of course again you need to use more hair, but this is another cornrow pattern that can be done for faux locks. I normally do this one when I do my knotted crochet braid installation, but this can be used for faux locks as well. But remember, queens, you're going to need to use a little bit more hair, but make sure you do the proper spacing.